Three, two, one, and we're on. So, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to another episode of Random Art Shit because I don't know how to make videos and I got really fucking bored. There's nothing that really comes to mind when I honestly just have an idea. Excuse me. I really just see something. I like almost like a hallucination. Like I'll just see it and then immediately I will get some type of drive and want, or at least do my best to make it happen. None of that's relevant to what I'm actually going to talk about. It's just, I know there's going to be people that are going to either complain or just get the idea of like, why is this artsy shit like being played, or being played over while this dude's talking about some other shit. Don't fucking worry about it. It's my video. But not in a rude way. It's just better than just having some awkward dude just sit in front of the camera and talk to you, or really just watch them literally talk at a wall or this machine that's getting this footage. But that's besides everything. I'm gonna get everything out the way, at least for announcement wise, where I'm just gonna say that I'm making I already have the Discord server up, but I want to put in more bots and have some fun shit inside of there and really fine tune that in order to actually get down to like having a more interactive form of communication with you guys. So there's that Discord in process, but even though it's technically there. And then from there, we're sponsored by me because nobody's gonna give me money yet for this art supplies that I put out. So it's super fun to still invest into it and have an excuse to record something and be able to talk over it. So shout out to me, good job me. And lastly, I'm moving to Washington. I'm currently in the Midwest, so I'm gonna go down to the West Coast. Originally, where I'm from, like I was born around California, so it just feels suiting to be able to go back there, be able to just feel the good energy. Because in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure other people in the Midwest can sympathize, but there's just a lot of moodiness and a lot of really just icky stuff, especially because of weather. Like the climate is always suffocating to me, so it feels like a genuine, some people could call it a blessing, some people can call it luck. I just see it as an opportunity overall, but there's a lot of good shit waiting for me out there. So what that comes down to is more content, and I'm gonna do my best to just like vlog or just document as much as I can during the journey. I'm like 85% confident that my car can make the entire way down there. I don't see any real reason other than the reasons that make the 15% why it could give it some difficulty. But other than that, there's nothing that I'm going to allow to stop me and just keep going. But we're gonna pick up everything, head down there, and then make some more headway for this podcast, make some more shit for, or the videos that I want to make and other shit. So I'm only using the podcast as a way to be a little bit more comfortable with talking out to the fucking wall, because I can see where people absolutely stop and hit their own barriers because I guess they just get in their own head, and I don't blame them at all. Like it was a little bit scary for me to really want to just put a voice out there, because nobody knows like who's going to be listening. And I feel like now that's the funnest part, because it doesn't matter who's listening, because whoever is going to listen is going to be a person that actually cares. Like you have to care in order to click, and if you're clicking it, and whatever the intent is, you know, you're still giving the view, so whatever. But the point is that you're allowing others to at least have a chance for them not to feel somewhat alone, and it's not gonna be this whole hippy dippy shit or really emotional thing where it's just like I want to, make this podcast so people aren't lonely. It's like, nah, if you're fucking lonely, live in that. Like, I honestly think that people who feel that they're lonely or that they are alone should learn to cope with it in a positive way that they feel can benefit them later on, because it's not a bad thing to be alone. And other people can argue and say like, oh, I've been alone for 3 years or whatever, and it's just like, well, I've been alone for 3 years. You know what I did with that time? I know I can only speak for myself, but I essentially just honed my social skills and my actual attitude towards the art that I want to make, and what's the word I'm looking for? And they grow to whatever fucking sunflower, like comes out of it. So to each their own, obviously, and not everybody's gonna have the same mentality as me, or have like a certain type of assertiveness and sense of responsibility to themselves, because it's so fucking easy for you just to go, fuck it, I don't give a fuck, or play the like I'm okay if I die tomorrow kind of card. But it's just like, that you do care, and as much as you want to put like that type of edge on things, you have to be realistic and come back to earth and just be like, well, I am alone. I'm definitely going to do better at being content with the loneliness, because once you befriend loneliness, I feel like you're not alone at all. So that's kind of where I was getting at with that, was just if you can genuinely have some type of communication with yourself when you get lonely, then I don't think it's possible for you to feel alone. It's like you can acknowledge that, yeah, hey, I'm alone, like I'm in a situation that doesn't make me feel like I'm a part of a group, maybe, even if you're around people. It's just getting out of your own head and genuinely passing that down to another perspective. Like, switch roles with yourself. Like, you'll still be yourself, but instead of playing the I'm lonely role, you can just play the whole that guy's lonely role and look at yourself from your astral self or whatever. And you can change so much if you just like genuinely be honest. And I feel like that's why it's so easy for us to just not want to be honest with ourselves, because it is so much easier just to do that shrug off the shoulder type fuck it attitude. But it's just more harmful. Like, I don't see it as anything else other than a double-edged sword, because you can play that game for as long as you'd like, but the thing is, just like Flare Blitz, it's gonna have recoil damage, and you're gonna be suffering eventually until it knocks you out. Like, oh man, yeah, I used a Pokemon reference there. But aside from loneliness, I think another thing to look out for when it comes to like trying to start this commentary stuff that I've noticed and that I've been trying to hone and get better at myself too, is not being so anxious with topics. I have this really neat idea that I think I'm going to want to stick with for just a little bit, and that's having weekly themes. So this week I have no idea what it really is. I'm just going to be trying to figure out my wax boards and make more boards and do stuff along that line. But as for things to talk about, that's where the themes come in. So obviously, for those that listen and listen far enough into being able to like be asked, like, give me suggestions, then I'm gonna pick on myself. But of course, people can tweet me or just comment on the videos, whatever themes or topics that would be cool to get my perspective on, or just talk about. So then let's try this for a theme, or maybe not even a theme, but just more so of me just now wanting to vent, just because I just want something to mumble on about for the next half of this video. For those of you that don't really even know or care, I'm somebody that genuinely enjoys making like projects. Doesn't matter what it is. It just,
it can be something as simple as just these videos, or figuring out a new skill and trying to go to the fucking moon with it. I don't really know. There's just something about learning new shit that just gets me fucking going, and I feel like in some parts it really bites me in the fucking ass, because there's so much to learn in just about anything, like people in cars, because people can learn about a car and stick to that one specific car. Like, we'll say Dodge. Like, people will go to Dodge and they'll look up their entire history, think about and study the all models and whatever else that really came out, and etc. But then there's the mechanical side of that, where people will think about, okay, well, Dodge has this type of model and it has this engine, this transmission, this whatever, and try and compare that to something like a Porsche, or I don't fucking know, because I don't know shit about cars. I just know that you need to make sure that your fluids are updated on it, and if it starts making unusual noises, get that shit checked, because there's people that dedicate their lives to this, the same way that I have a bad habit of dedicating my life to, like, just anything that sparks a genuine interest. There was this one little, I don't even want to call it a phase in honesty, because I'm definitely going to try and make myself a forge and try and do some backyard forging, and maybe make some videos out of that if I can get something settled out in Washington. But when I was like 13 or something, maybe, yeah, like around there was this person on YouTube. I've totally forgot his name. If I remembered, I'll totally fucking tag it in the description. But I would get so mesmerized by both a combination of the restoration videos that he would put up and the smithing videos that he would put up, and it would just constantly make me think about this one History Channel show called like Clash of the Gods or something, where it was all about Greek mythology and mythos, and I try to compare that to the smithing, where it's just like, well, these parts of culture and history just all revolve around a certain image and figure. So one thing that they always glaze over, because in that show it's just about, you know, gods, what they never really touched on was obviously, like, you know, culture and like the shit that they would do. So that's where I'd always try and like put two and two together, where this ancient technique from the Iron Age, and maybe even a lot before, because some of the first forms of I think welding or whatever was smelting, and they'd put those cast iron molds up and fill them in and do all sorts of shit with them. It was really cool shit. I fucking fell in love with it, and for the longest I tried convincing my mom to help me with getting into this little hobby. And of course, because I was a kid, it's just like, what the fuck are you really going to do with all this equipment that's going to cost like over like $600 and whatever else? Like, the only thing that my mom seen it as was just a bunch of fucking waste of money. It was more of a investment to not have this bratty ass kid go around and be out in the street or whatever. But never worked out, because the most I got out of that entire like fantasy was just a belt sander that I never even really got to actually use, because she never gave me the garage either. But that's besides the point. The same way that there's these mechanics, the historians, the documenters slash whatever the hell it is that, you know, you can just put yourself into, not even just like your physical body, but even more so an aspect of your own soul or spirit, whatever the hell you want to call it. There's just something with just educating yourself that's such a turn on, and I know there's a lot of people that can sympathize and know what I'm talking about, because I know that I'm not the only one that just gets a kick out of figuring something out or being shown something different. There's just so much in the world that I feel like if you do spread yourself out, and that you just are open to all these separate topics and forms of education, that you're going to be rewarded, not in like a monetary kind of value, but you're going to be rewarded in more of a karma kind of value, or a karmic way, but because there's going to be some type of energy that just has all these topics that you're interested in and that you intentionally put yourself out there to be educated on, there will be some type of just wave where these things more or less just flow into your life, and it can start a career, it could start more hobbies, it could start whatever you want it to, if you're open to, continue learning on it, if you really cared about whatever it was. This is going to be one of those things, as in my whole channel and stuff, because I've always admired people that put themselves out there, and I'm not going to say that weren't afraid of any type of criticism or anything, because that's inevitable. You're always going to have people that have an opinion, and I feel like that's a beautiful thing, because once you have people that have an opinion about you, I feel like it is a good sign of you doing something right, even if they're not good things coming out of other people. So I just wanted something to really just go on about and fill in this other half, but also just give you guys a more insight, I guess, on my mentality, and a little bit more of just what to expect, almost, because I really don't know what the fuck to expect, because my mind will forever just be racing a million miles a second and wanting to make different types of projects, different types of videos. Is just right now, this commentary stuff is what's gonna help me get into the role and swing of things. Not to mention that I do just genuinely like to talk, even though it is a little bit awkward right now because I'm not so used to talking independently. I'm very, very good at just bouncing off of other people's energy, but I'm not always gonna have people around to talk to, and I feel like right now that's gonna be one of the best things for me, because I am gonna be able to just be myself and unapologetically damn, words are hard right now, be able to just give my own mind and perspective on things without consequence. And I don't mean without consequence as in, oh, I can say some fuck shit that's misogynistic or racist and not be touched. No, just without consequence as in feeling guilty anymore for just saying what I want to say, because it's hard for some people to just read a room and like not exactly think immediately that, hey, I shouldn't say this around this group of people, because maybe some people are more touchy to this topic than some are if I were to be around another group. But just more so of, we're on YouTube, and all that means to me is that there's a giant fucking earlobe and ear canal, or fucking I don't even know, I forgot what joke I was trying to make with that, but there's just a thing there that's letting me put whatever it is I'm putting inside that void, and if the people catch on it, then they're gonna reciprocate that via subscriptions or likes, comments, etc. Like, the YouTube's a really fucking weird thing, and the internet as a whole is a weird thing, but one thing that I know that isn't weird is just the appreciation that I have for, or not only anybody that's listening, but more so an appreciation for myself for honestly risking a lot of this, because it's somewhat scary, and I know that it's going to be rewarding, but I'm not looking for a reward. I'm just looking for people to listen. So thank you for those that are listening. If you want to subscribe, you can subscribe. I don't really care. I enjoyed talking and making this video. It took me about 5 days because I was too anxious / whatever to really want to upload it for some reason. But here it is now. I'll see you guys.